So I think
Mayor, what are we looking for?
I brought it up at our county level meetings. We coordinate the group. It's a bit tougher in Lambton County because of the Chemical Valley.
Yes.
And St. Clair has a very close relationship with the plants there. Similarly with Sarnia, it's very important for them to have that hands-on response for those types of events. And similarly Point Edward with the bridge and casino facility. They want to have that hands-on. Others have expressed an interest in having a broader brushstroke. Unfortunately, Emergency Management Ontario requires it's an all-or-nothing approach to emergency management. If we all agree that it's going to be a county response, they're fine with that. If we're not, then it's less so. But I think it's just going to require some stick handling. Mark Wettering, who's the county coordinator, does coordination for Warwick and several other municipalities, and so that may be the approach to go.
We put in the budget that we're getting a small little metal boat to take us across to Armstrong Easton and that. Would that boat also be used to get people out? Like if Port Franks all of a sudden had water coming in, and I mean we've got the drains, they're going to fill up and they'll go over the roads. We could actually be tied off. And I also think there's another community down on Fog Line. There's a subdivision down there with about 15 houses in. So how would they be approached? Would you use that small metal boat that we're going to own again? Or are you going to call people in to go get, like, they could, if the waterways were flooded in by a great big tsunami, for example, through the lakes, you could have...
The response a number of years ago, when those subdivisions, I can't remember the names of them, there was, remember that we had a hovercraft that was housed at the Northville station that it could remove you kind of one at a time, the operator and somebody hanging on for dear life behind. I think what it was determined was that was not an effective response to those things. People are aware, and part of it's education. They are aware they're living in a floodplain area.
Yeah.
It's likely to be wet basements and up to their knees in water more than a deluge. So it's somewhat measured, and sometimes in those kinds of instances where the lake is affected, there's usually a good heads up that something's happening. In Port Franks, the fire department and the Northville department has been pretty good about going around with their loudspeaker system and advising people to, move to higher ground, or you better get out. But again, it's short of it's a fine line between how much of it is an inconvenience and how much is it a real danger to people.
Dr. Munson.
That's what I was going to ask you, John. Is I know in the forested areas up in zones 3 and 4, have we considered a early warning defense?
Well,
loudspeakers?
that repeatedly becomes an area of concern, particularly if we had a run of really dry weather. It is an area that has lots of campgrounds and lots of open fires. It's just the nature of the area, and it doesn't take much with a wind in the right direction to trigger something, and that is a real concern because the road systems are you can get those bottled up pretty darn quickly. So a lot of it is about educating people about watching their fires, and we're doing an increased effort on them from the fire board standpoint about open burning and so on and so forth. But I think a warning system, a lot of times what happens is once a warning system comes in, people start, because you test it periodically, people tune it out. We had the system go for a legitimate event in Sarnia, and everybody in my neighborhood walked out on the street to, you're not supposed to, you're supposed to take cover, but people wanted, before I take cover, I want to see what's up, what's on the horizon, and so on and so forth. It depends on, it's highly weather dependent as well, the effectiveness of those communication systems. I was surprised that there's been occasions when you can't hear anything, and that's just there's a prevailing wind in a direction that directs the sound away. So it's not the answer, but it would at least give people kind of who are in earshot a bit of a warning. We're looking at ways in which we have the reader board signs in each community, and we do reception center like we did in that winter storm, that people could go there. There may be the opportunity to present severe weather warning, flasher on those signs, but again, it's,
You have to be driving that way to see.
yeah,
It's, yeah, it's real short. All right, Ed.
Yeah, I think this is an excellent report, and I'm really pleased to have a briefing of what's been done to this point, because it was on my thoughts. And just going back to the early warning system again, just wondering, has a report been compiled in the past that dealt with how many different speakers would be necessary, and what the costs might be
No, I've
to
done
get it to everyone, and maybe how we educate people, like you were saying, people are, maybe in Sarnia aren't properly educated, they're going outside when they should be going to basements or whatever.
I did some preliminary contact with Cal Gardner from the city of Sarnia about their speaker system. He referred me to the supplier that they had. I provided them with some maps, and they do a kind of a projection as to the primary area that their signal system could reach, and so on and so forth. And so, without getting into more money, we were going to have a discussion about pros and cons, practicality of it. What they would in turn do would do an overlay for the municipality to show you what the coverage areas could be, and then to me it would be, the approach would be similar to backup generators. You gradually implement those. You probably take the highest risk areas first. There used to be this form of notification in the old days. Each fire hall had a fire system. You know, their sirens would go and people would get, know that some stuff. But after a while, they tuned it up because they responded to accidents and a lot of different things. But it's something worth pursuing, I think, because people are, they're relaxing and vacating. They're not watching Sarnia City Council meetings on cable or the Weather Channel like I do.
Councilor McGuire.
Yes, John, just wondering, like, we have resources of Hay Communications and Executive. Is there anything we can do with them as far as they broadcast their own TV signals, internet,
Yeah.
they put something out?
Yes. One of the challenges is that there's three companies that deliver service for us, and I know that I think Sarnia has an automatic system that will alert cable subscribers over their television. So it's one method we could probably pursue as well.
Councilor Munson.
Just along those lines, Councilor McGuire, there are a lot of associations, community associations, and I know there's a liability with this, that, you don't want to get into the thing, well, the Southcott Pines people didn't tell me there was a hurricane coming, so I'm going to sue them, but is there any merit in maybe having contacts with those associations? I know Huron Woods has a blog, for example, that
Yeah,
it goes
I
through
think
your partners.
anything and everything that we can do to get a message out is of value. The other thing that we've been promoting for the last several years, and again this year, Emergency Preparedness Week, is the 72-hour kind of emergency preparedness kit that you would keep in your home that has, because if there's a major event, it's at minimum 72 hours before we're going to really be able to get to you. So making sure that you've got prescription medicines, you've got water, so I want to know if you got pretty good meat supply, where to go in an event of it over there.
You'll have to wait for your invitation to go to the back.
So part of it's just getting it in people's heads, because it oftentimes is after the fact that they realize, that power went out for a long time.
I think a lot of those associations are listed in the emergency book, are they not? Contacts for all of those?
Well, as I indicate in this overview, communications is the key, is the challenge. We did an exercise that was largely dependent upon our wireless communication systems and Blackberries, and when they learned that Blackberry towers, the batteries run out on those, and all of a sudden you've lost your cellular communication ability. So that's the value of these kinds of exercises. You test and you explore and you look for, okay, what's our contingency plan. They've upgraded a lot of the cell towers with backup power generation, so that that's when you most need them, when the primary systems are down. So.
The zone 3 and 4 folks will be thankful there won't be a sewage system rupture.
There you go. Backups.